We got a 5-star right here. 5-star wide receiver, Cederian Morgan. This is a guy who I am going to make the trip down to Alabama, Alexander City, Alabama, for a huge day, July 2nd, big commitment. Cederian, first of all, Andrew Ivins, our director of scouting, many, many moons ago, called you, I believe he ranked you the #1 receiver in America, or right up there, fresh off a Nashville Under Armour camp a year ago. What did that mean to you to have, I believe, 4 offers under your name and be listed as among the best players in America?
I said it really pushed me and motivated me because before I went out there, I always knew that I can compete with some of the best players in my class. So when I went out there, did what I did, that was like a start for me, and I see it, and I was thankful and stuff like that. But I know I still have more work to do, and it just gave me motivation.
Cederian, I do the annual Freaks list. We were talking about it, a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
You're a guy that won a state title in the high jump. You're a guy that's made the Sweet 16 in back-to-back years on the basketball court. And, oh, by the way, you caught 70 passes this past season for close to 1,200 yards and multiple touchdowns.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, what is the freakiest thing that you think you do in terms of athletic ability?
Really probably my high jump. A lot of people, 6'5", 220 can't jump over 6'8", or run fast. Just the things I do at my size is, very rare.
I want to ask you, I know you had your top 6, and then I think Clemson got eliminated. You narrowed it down to top 5. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I want to talk about each of them real quick. Alabama, we'll start with them. What do you like about the Tide?
Just their tradition to win. And with the new staff coming in, they like to throw the ball, and they done had a lot of success with receivers my size. So that's one reason I picked them to be in my top 5.
What about the Auburn Tigers?
My relationship with them is probably really can't explain. Like I said, Coach Dave has been recruiting me since I was a freshman. He was coming to see Malcolm, but he always, said hey, or gave me tips and things I can do to get better since my freshman year.
Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, I know you had a good visit out of Boulder. What was that? What stands out about Colorado?
Just how Coach Prime carries himself, and the way he carries his team and the standard that he set. That is great to me, and the stuff. I feel like he's building a very special program.
Florida's one. When we talk, you always seem to rave about the Gators. You've always called them a dark horse in your process. So what do you like about Florida?
They're good. They got good people as well. But Coach, Napier and Coach Gonzalez done did a great job with receivers in their pass. So I feel like if I went to Florida, they'll be able to get me to the next level.
Over the next couple of days, you're going to be teaming up with 5-star quarterback Jared Curtis. You kind of hinted at me earlier, hey, you guys might team up together in college. So he's headed to Georgia. What do you like about the Bulldogs?
Like I said, Coach Kirby, Coach Smart, he got a great history of winning. And like I said, I know I got me a quarterback that's going to be able to get to me. Me and Jared, we talk a lot, and this is going to be our first time, being together. So I'm just ready for it and ready to let y'all see what we can do.
You're inside of a week before you make your decision. What's this process like for you now that you're getting down to crunch time, getting to make this decision? Is there kind of a daily process where you're saying, okay, I'm going to spend time and make my pros and cons list? Do you have a decision made up in your mind? Or are you still literally struggling between all 5 programs? And how is it getting to the point where you feel confident in making that decision in July 2nd?
I'm not going to say I'm struggling, but I'm still kind of, I haven't just made my mind up all the way because, like I said, it's going to be a very tough decision for me because all the schools, have the sparkles and, the good things and all them good people. All of them do a lot of good things as far as winning, development. But it's just going to take me to sit down with my family and, just talk about the good and the bad of each school and why I think I fit the best.
Cederian, obviously we love you as a prospect, right? You mentioned that you're 220 pounds. You high jump 6'7". It might be 6'9". I can't recall off the top. We struggle for a player comp with you. You're built like DK Metcalf. You make these contested catches like George Pickens. Give us a self-scouting report. Who are you and what are you bringing to the table wherever you end up deciding on July 2nd?
I like to compare myself to Julio. That's my favorite receiver. Julio. DK, just the bigger receivers that can move, run routes, win one-on-ones. But I like to call those type of do-it-all receivers, So that's how I, compare myself. And yeah.
Compares himself to Julio Jones. We'll see if you're following in his footsteps in a week. So, Cederian, I appreciate the time, my friend. Thanks as always.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, Tommy, yeah, you mentioned the Jared Curtis connection.
Yeah.
They're playing on the same 7-on-7 team out there, but you also listed off Auburn. Okay, they got a young quarterback that we're pretty bullish on. Good things coming out. Induced night from spring practices. Alabama, Keelan Russell, Gatorade Player of the Year last season. Colorado, Juju Lewis there. And then Florida, DJ Lagway. Gators got him for hopefully 2 more years. You know, they're going to probably have to hold on to him, but 2 years before he can make his way to the NFL. And so he's certainly got some good guys throwing him the football wherever he ends up.
Yeah, it's not too shabby. I mean, this kid is outstanding. I mean, he's an elite talent. He's going to be taken care of like he is. But is there anything about his game that gives you a little pause? I mean, obviously he's ranked as a 5-star. You love him. But what do you think is one area that maybe he could work on, maybe an area for improvement?
Yeah, I don't know how much of a vertical threat he's really going to be on Saturdays and Sundays. And what I mean by that, I think he makes his money in the slot, right? And it's, you know, we were kind of joking behind the scenes, the 24/7 sports scouting department. Hey, is this guy a tight end? That's why I was so eager to see him. It's been the first time in over a year since Under Armour's Future 50 event. I was wondering if he was a guy that was potentially going to, you know, get some H-back in-line work, but his ability to separate, create spatial awareness. We talk about him on the basketball court. He boxes out defenders and he makes acrobatic grabs. And I think, you know, the big sticking point with him when he gets to college and the Sunday evaluators come around, it's going to be that top end gear, right? How fast is he truly? But for a guy that can line up in the slot, I think he's someone where he can catch, you know, 8 to 10 passes, get 12 targets, a game in the SEC. I think he's a cheat code. He's a super unique prospect and really someone we haven't seen come out of the high school ranks in recent years with his explosion and his size.